So when you came up back then, what were you thinking? What was life going to be like when you came back up then?
Peaceful, quiet, build a house, cut the timber on the mill, build a house, just satisfaction, just it had been a dream as a kid to buy a block of land and build a house. And that was, people want to sail around the world, and I wanted to buy a block of land and build a house, that was my dream.
So mate, what happened?
Well,
what ruined it?
The first warning for me was the compressor station started up. It sounded like a jet engine. And that went on for a day, and I didn't think much of it. And then I went and investigated, and I lived next to a compressor station. I had no idea. I had no idea they were building it. And then I started drilling on the top of the hill, just probably not even 2 k's from where we're sitting here, just about 2 k's from where we're sitting here. And they started drilling over the back. And then it just went on and on and on, and it just quickly spiraled into a nightmare.
So at what point did you go, I have to stay here and fight? I mean, you must have gone through, I guess, a lot of emotions to get to that point. Did you think of leaving?
100%. I thought I'd leave, but then I thought, well, hang on, why should I leave? This is my land, and this is the house that I'm building, and that's, why should I get up and leave all that so a multinational gas mining company can come in and make $1 billion or $100 billion at the expense of my dreams? It's not fair.
So why do you reckon in a place like this, then in a sense you get the strongest resistance to? Well,
you get the strongest resistance in an area like this is because people don't have anything to lose. They're not wealthy people, so all they have is their land and the house that they're building, or some that are already built, and that's all they've got. So when a multinational mining company comes in and says they're going to put a gas well through your neighbourhood, well, that doesn't sit well with us.
And in a sense, this place is, I guess, you felt the impacts most and biggest, didn't you? It's like ground zero in a way, isn't it?
It is ground zero, and especially right here, and there's a compressor station 7 k's that way. Closest well is about 2 k's. Then you've got a pipeline 400 metres out the front. And there's a well down the back. There's several wells on top of the hill. And one of the biggest gas fields just on our doorstep here.
But the plan is for big things here, isn't it?
200 plus wells next year. That's what we were told. 200 plus wells next year, and with the possibility of 2,000 through this area. 2,000 wells. At 750 metre spacings. On those spacings, I potentially will have sort of 3 wells on my land. And, as I've told the gas company many times before, you're not welcome here. No wells will be drilled on this land. None. The law says they can do it. Well, I want to see them exercise that law because they're not welcome here.
Mm. I guess, look, was one of the things also that both from the companies and the government they seem to, A, never reveal what they did, and B, not address any concerns or fears. Was that part of the problem here?
The way they addressed the concerns and fears was to change legislation. The government changed the legislation so our concerns and fears were non-existent to the mining company or the government. We were concerned about the compensation, concerned about the land access. Well, the government recently changed that, so we've got a total of 40 days once they give you the intention they want to come on your land, 40 days before they're here with a bulldozer.
The trust was lost pretty quickly, wasn't it? In terms of if there was ever any trust, was there ever any kind of trust? Or
no, there was never. Well, the relationship was pretty shaky from day one, because once again they came in here and the second sentence was forced entry. Well, straight away you dig your heels in, and from there on in it sort of went sour and never recovered. And that's, I think, the feeling across probably the whole region. That the gas companies, as far as they're concerned, the government has given them the right to take the gas, and we're in their way. You know, I mean, this is our land, and we should not be in their way. You know, I mean, they're actually an inconvenience to us. So a bit of consideration and courteous consideration would probably go a long way.
So this whole thing is obviously about getting your rights back, isn't it? Or asserting them at least.
Well, you know, to get our rights back, the legislation, the Petroleum Act, must be changed. Anna Bligh continually changed the Petroleum Act to suit the mining companies, not to suit the landholders. She's continually eroded our rights. And I honestly think they're starting to erode the constitutional rights. You know, I mean, our constitutional rights. It's got to the point where I just look at the amendments that are being put through, and I think, how is that possible? How aren't people, you know, tens of thousands of people marching through the streets? Because it's ridiculous to think that they can put those through. And look, they slip them through at the Friday afternoon at sort of 10 to 5, or, you know, 10 minutes before Parliament closes, you know, finishes for the week or the year. And if people really looked into the amendments to the Petroleum Act, you know what I mean, I have no doubt there would be tens of thousands of people marching in the street, because at the end of the day, you don't own anything. You just pay the rates. The government own it, and you're just a resident. Tell
me what it does to a community in a psychological sense. I mean, there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. It almost traumatised people, doesn't it?
To say it didn't traumatise a community would be an understatement. You know what I mean? Depression is the norm. You know what I mean? I see normally very resilient grown men come around to my house, and you know what I mean? You see a tear well in their eye when they talk about losing their land to an offshore mining company, to a gas company, and it really has sort of nearly broken the back of people. But you know what I mean? That's only for a temporary lapse of sort of weakness, and then it's straight back. You know what I mean? Every time it happens, and it happens to me too. You know what I mean? You feel sort of despair, but you know.
What keeps you going?
The rights, our rights as Australians, our rights as Queenslanders, to, you know what I mean, the right to our own home, their right to our land that we've bought, and we pay mortgages on, and we pay land rates on, and you know what I mean. It's bigger than my battle. It's actually a battle that is consuming the entire country, and it's people from the city don't quite understand yet, but it's coming. You know what I mean? It's on your doorstep. Sydney, it's on your doorstep. Brisbane, it's on your doorstep. You know what I mean? This coal seam gas industry is encroaching onto every major city, into every water basin. You know what I mean? And I fear that by the time the cities get involved, it'll be too late. You know what I mean? If people don't start acting now, you know what I mean, it's a lost cause, because they'll be entrenched, and the sad ramifications of that will be, you know what I mean, basically an industrial wasteland from west of the Great Divide.
Tell me why you're going to succeed against, as you say, massively powerful and rich multinational companies.
Well, these people think power's in money, power's in the people. You know what I mean? They won't break us. They can't break us. We won't be broken. And, you know, we're backed into a corner, whereas if we lose this fight, we've got nothing left. I mean, people in this area will have nothing left. We'll have a gas field. Our homes will be unsellable. They'll be uninhabitable. So we can't lose.